Hello and welcome to a new series called Things I Discovered About Zelda by Translating Previously Untranslated Zelda Stuff. Over the last few years, my good pal Rory and I have been working through Japanese articles, whether it be interviews by the developers or with staff members who worked on Zelda games, and translating them for public consumption. These translated articles have been, for the most part, funded by the Good Blood Patreon and posted on the Good Blood website for free access. As a Zelda fan, reading through these translated articles is a great joy. There's a lot of wonderful bits of development trivia, and so in this new series, I'm going to share some of my favorite ones with you. This week, the article is from Nintendo Dream issue 83 in a massive interview with the team behind Wind Waker. Now, if you don't know Wind Waker, it's a story set on the ocean with the Kingdom of Hyrule, the same kingdom from the previous Zelda games, now sunk to the bottom of the sea, or more accurately, now buried after a flood. By using the Wind Waker baton, Link can control the wind, allowing him to sail to different islands. When it came to designing the initial foundations for the game, the ocean came before everything else. Director Eiji Aonuma admitted that he wanted to completely smash Hyrule as we know it once and for all. In his own words, "I thought there's no point in just remaking the same Hyrule from the N64 games again, so I thought, let's sink it." Aonuma clarifies that the treasures Link salvages from the ocean floor are indeed the lost treasures from the old kingdom of Hyrule down below. Hey. After the ocean was set up to be the new playing field, the ship was designed, followed by the wind function. Head designer Haruhana says that it wasn't until the ship came out that the wind came out. When we had to decide how we should make the ship move, we decided it had to be the wind after all. So we ended up saying, well then, let's use the wind more consciously in various places. But this new ocean playing field presented some issues. With the ocean appearing to be endless, the team had to work out what to do when players approached the boundaries of the map. The team mentioned that at one point, the idea was to make it an endless loop where players would enter the opposite side of the map when sailing too far. In the end, the solution was to use the King of Red Lions. Aonuma says, "The ship can talk and move on its own, so I thought it wouldn't be surprising if it said, you mustn't go any further." On this topic of sailing, one complaint some players had was in relation to the slow sailing speed of the boat. Not me, of course, I think the Wind Waker is flawless. However, the speed of the boat wasn't so much a creative decision by the team as much as it was a technical one. One of the great achievements of the Wind Waker was its absence of loading screens between Link sailing across the ocean and landing on an island. But to achieve this, islands had to be placed at specific distances to give the game time to load. In his own words, Aonuma explains, "The reason for the size of the sea is that if we'd made it smaller, we wouldn't have had time to read the data of the island you're about to visit. We were bargaining for microseconds, so the speed of the ship was balanced for that as well." The sailing speed of the boat was of course changed in the re-release on Wii U, where players can get the Swift Sail, allowing them to sail at faster speeds, and this is thanks to the stronger specs of the console. On the topic of collectible items, the Hyoi pear, the fruit which allows Link to more or less possess a seagull in order to scope out an island or collect hard-to-reach items, is so named after the Japanese word for possession, which is Hyoi. Originally, the Deku Leaf, the item Link collects which allows him to glide and also create gusts of air, was first designed to be a simple fan. Aonuma says, "It started out as a fan, then became something used for flying later on. During the development process, I realized that riding the wind would be a valuable feature, allowing you to fly to new places." One of the major themes the lead programmer of Wind Waker wanted for the game was strings. And with this we can see just how much attention was given to the physics behind ropes and strings and vines and cloth. Writer Mitsuhiro Takano mentions that the idea of strings was an evolution from Majora's Mask, like the whips from the last boss. The team also bring up how the same approach was given to the strings on the spears of the Moblins, as well as bridges and even the final battle which revolves around puppet strings. On this topic, Aonuma mentions that initially, the vines that grow around chests in the Forbidden Forest originally were programmed to never stop growing. Artist Haruhana mentions that while in the testing phase, the vines would grow endlessly if you left it alone. That was incredible to watch. On the subject of environmental effects, the team discuss how proud they were of the finer details, one being that Beetle's ship will begin to smoke when shot with a bomb. And finally, when asked about any cut content, the team bring up the crabs. Aonuma says, "That's right, the crabs. The crabs along the beach, we had wanted to do various things with them, but we were unable to. We thought, what can we do with the crabs?" And then development finished. Takizawa mentions that one of the programmers said, "Maybe we can make them 10 times as large for now." With the interviewer responding, "Maybe Zelda fans from across Japan are going to try many different things on the crabs now, just to see what they can do." And that's it for this episode of things I discovered about Zelda by translating previously untranslated Zelda stuff. If you're interested in unique Zelda trivia stuff like me, please consider becoming a patron, where you'll directly fund and get priority access to any new translation work. Thanks for watching.